In a quiet part of the galaxy, Earth was hidden. Long ago, humans had left the rest of the galaxy behind. They covered their home with a cloak that made it invisible. No one had seen Earth in more than 200 years. Many thought humans were gone forever. But Earth was not gone. It was watching. It was waiting. On a hidden ship called the USS Blackfield, a team of humans searched the stars. The ship was dark and silent, hidden just like Earth. Captain Eric Carter stood on the bridge, looking out into space. He was tall, calm, and serious. Next to him stood Commander Laura Green. She was smart and careful. They had worked together. For years, the Blackfield had picked up a strange signal. It came from deep space, far beyond known star charts. The signal was old and broken. It repeated only a few words. Beware the world breakers. Eric turned to Laura. What do you think it means? I don't know, Laura said, but someone wanted to warn us. They showed the signal to the rest of the team. Some thought it was a trap. Others believed it was just old noise. But Eric wanted to know the truth. They followed the signal. It led them to a dead star with a single station in orbit. The station looked like a ruin. Its metal was covered in ice and dust. No lights, no signs of life. But the signal was still coming from inside. Eric sent a team inside. Laura went with them. The air was thin and the walls were cold. Inside, they found a library of data. Old files, written in many languages. Some were human, others were not. One file stood out. It showed a giant machine breaking a planet apart. The machine had long arms and a huge glowing core. The planet, cracked like glass. Laura stared at the image. This is not human tech, she said. No, said a young tech named Kyle. But look at this tag. Someone added notes in English. These were studied by humans before. Laura found a log from an old Earth leader. It said, if they ever come again, we must be ready. Grave dust must never be forgotten. Grave dust. That was a secret name. A project from long ago. Very few knew about it. Even Laura had only heard whispers. Eric called a meeting. We need to leave. There's something here we are not ready to fight. But it was already too late. While searching the station, Kyle had touched a control panel. A small light blinked. A signal was sent. Below the dead planet, something moved. Hidden under the crust was a fleet of ships. They were machines, dark and silent. But now they were waking up. Laura shouted, we need to go now. The Blackfield pulled away from the station just as a massive shape rose from the planet. It looked like a ship, but it had no windows, no lights. Just a smooth black shell and glowing engines. More ships followed. The crew watched in silence. No one spoke. These ships did not look like anything they had seen before. Are they human? Someone asked. No, Eric said. But they know we're here. The ships did not chase them. They just floated in space, silent and cold. But something told Eric this was just the beginning. When they returned to Earth's hidden zone, they sent all the data to the Earth Defense Council. President Maria Jennings called an emergency meeting. This signal warned of what? Laura said, I think that's what we found. Do we know where they come from? Asked one of the council members. No, Eric said, but they were sleeping, and we woke them up. The president looked serious. We may have just started a war, we do not understand. Outside the council, deep in space, the machines moved. Slowly, they spread out, sending small scouts to old star systems. They were not in a hurry. They had waited for a long time. They could wait a little longer. The galaxy was busy with its own problems. The Galactic Council was dealing with pirate attacks, border fights, and trade wars. They ignored the small signals from the edge. They thought they were safe, but the machines were coming, and the galaxy had no idea what was about to arrive. The ship, USS Blackfield, moved through space at high speed. Inside, the crew worked in silence. Commander Laura Green looked over the files they had taken from the old station. The images of the machines destroying a planet stayed in her mind. Captain Eric Carter stood beside her. Any progress? Laura shook her head. The data is old. Some of it is damaged. But I found something strange. These machines were not made by humans. They were found by us. We only studied them. Eric frowned. So we didn't build them? No, she said. But someone wanted us to. These files show that the machines were hidden under old planets, like traps waiting to wake up. Eric looked at the screen. It showed a map of the galaxy, marked with red points. Are these other sites? Laura nodded. Yes, at least 10, maybe more. They sent the report to Earth. President Maria Jennings read it with care. She remembered the old name from her training, Grave Dust, a secret project. Even she knew only small parts of it. She called her advisors. If this is true, we need to prepare. Wake the old defenses. General Luke Harris stood in the war room. Planet killer protocols were never tested. We don't know if they work. We may not have a choice, Maria said. If these machines attack, we can't run. We have to fight. At the same time, Laura and her team returned to one of the red points on the map. It was a cold system with no living worlds. They found another station deep in the ice rings of a dead planet. This one was more damaged. But inside, Laura found something useful. This was a control point, she said. The machines reported to this station. A small device inside still had power. When they turned it on, a message played. It was not in any known language, but the tone was clear. A warning. Laura recorded the signal. Eric looked worried. Do you think the machines are moving again? Yes, she said, and they are growing. Back on Earth, huge factories hidden under the oceans started working again. Railguns, space shields, and long-range cannons were built. Satellites with cloaked sensors spread out into deep space. Old pilots were called back to service. President Maria gave a simple order. Earth will not fall again. But the secret could not stay hidden. A spy inside the Earth Defense Council sent a message to a galactic empire. They read the report and became afraid. If Earth had planet-killing weapons, it could destroy anyone. They shared the news with other empires. Fear spread quickly. A meeting was called in the Galactic Council. Leaders from many worlds gathered. The humans have broken the peace, said one leader. They are building forbidden weapons. They are hiding something, said another. They must be stopped. Only a few voices spoke in defense of Earth. Most demanded action. A fleet was sent to Earth's last known location. It had over 100 warships from 7 empires. They came with a message: surrender the weapons or be destroyed. Back on the USS Blackfield, Laura and Eric heard the news. They think we are the threat, Eric said. They don't know what's coming, Laura replied. We are not the danger, the machines are. They sent warnings to the fleet, but no one believed them. The alien commanders thought it was a trick. Then something happened. One of the old red points went dark. A planet in that system was gone. Not damaged, gone. Nothing was left but dust. Laura looked at the screen. They struck. One of the machines. Woke up. The Earth Defense Council went into full alert. The fleet from the empires reached the edge of Earth's hidden zone. President Maria appeared on their screens. "We will not give you our defenses," she said. "You are looking at the wrong threat." They gave her 1 hour to surrender. Then Earth answered. A beam of light came from deep space. It hit the fleet, but did not destroy them. It stopped their ships. Engines froze. Weapons failed. All power was lost. The fleet drifted, helpless. Then they received a second message from Earth. "This is a warning. Do not push us. We are not your enemy." The message shocked the galaxy. Earth had shown power no one had seen before, not even during the first contact wars. Meanwhile, Laura was still studying the files. She found a final log from a scientist who worked on Gravdust. "We never made the machines," the log said. "We found them, or they found us. The builders are gone, but their weapons remain, and they only wake when called." Eric read the log. "So we woke them by mistake. Now they are coming for all of us." Laura nodded. "And if we don't stop them, they will burn every world." Outside, Earth's system, the broken alien fleet floated in silence. Behind them, new signals started to rise across the galaxy. The machines were awake. They were watching. They were spreading. The galaxy was not ready. And now it was too late to hide. The stars outside the large window were still. Space was quiet and empty. But Captain Laura Brooks knew that silence in space was never safe. She stood on the bridge of the Liberty Star, looking at the data that had just arrived. The signal was weak, old, and full of static. But there was something strange about it. It was not random. It was human. Lieutenant Ethan Cole sat at the console, running the signal through filters. He was young, smart, and always ready to find answers. He looked up at the captain with confusion in his eyes. "It's coming from the edge of the void, Captain," he said. "Coordinates are outside known space." Captain Brooks crossed her arms. She had seen many strange things in her years, but this felt different. "How old is the signal?" she asked. "The signal type is from Earth, maybe 50 years old." "But the timestamp is today," Ethan replied. Commander Ryan Hale stepped closer. He was a calm man with sharp eyes. "It might be a trick," he said. "Pirates, or worse. Or it could be real," said Brooks. "What if it really is from Earth? From a ship we lost?" They all looked at the screen. The signal was marked as coming from ECS Pathfinder. That ship had disappeared 50 years ago. No wreckage was ever found. No one knew what happened. "Liberty Star is the closest vessel," said Brooks. "We'll check it out. Prepare the crew. We leave in 6 hours." The ship moved fast through space. Liberty Star was strong, built for long missions. It had weapons, science labs, and a loyal crew. The journey to the edge of known space took 4 days. On the 5th day, they reached the last marked star system. Beyond that, nothing was charted. They passed strange waves of energy. The ship shook once, then twice, but held strong. Lights flickered, but the systems stayed online. Reading something ahead, Ethan said, "Large object, metallic, no heat, on." The screen, a shape appeared. It floated in the dark like a ghost. The crew grew silent. It was a ship. "Is that the Pathfinder?" asked Megan Scott, the science officer. She had spent years studying lost ships. "It matches the Pathfinder's shape and size," said Ryan. "But look at it. The hull is wrong. It's covered in something, ... alien. The hull looked burned, but also covered with strange marks. They glowed a soft blue and moved slowly, like they were alive. No one answered their calls. No lights came from inside. "We have to go in," said Captain Brooks. "Suit up a team. Megan, Ryan, you're with me." The shuttle crossed the space between the two ships. It landed inside the Pathfinder's bay, which opened as if waiting. Inside, everything was dark. The lights from the shuttle showed long, empty halls. There was no damage, but also no signs of people. "The ship is fully powered," said Megan, looking at her scanner. "But it's running on something I don't understand. This isn't Earth tech." They walked through the halls. Dust floated in the air. The walls had the same glowing marks as the hull. They seemed to hum softly. "No bodies," said Ryan. "No signs of struggle." They reached the bridge. It was empty. Everything was in perfect order. A message was left on the main screen. Just one word: return. Megan found the ship's log. Most files were missing, but some videos were still there. They showed the crew working, then strange lights, then silence. The last file was 50 years old. "Captain, I found something," Megan said. She pointed to a room marked cryo storage. Inside, there was one cryopod still running. A man floated inside. His tag read, "Dr. Alan Price." "He's alive," said Megan. "Vitals are stable. He's been in cryosleep for 50 years. They brought him back to the Liberty Star." The ship's medical team began the wake-up process. Captain Brooks stood nearby, waiting. When Alan opened his eyes, he looked around and smiled. "You found us," Brooks nodded. "We did. Where is the rest of your crew?" Alan's smile faded. "Gone." She looked at him. "Gone where?" He closed his eyes and whispered, "Beyond." She wanted to ask more, but he was too weak. The doctor said he needed rest. Back on the Pathfinder, the systems remained online, but they no longer responded to control. It was like the ship was waiting for something. Captain Brooks stared at the floating ship outside her window. Something had come back from the void. But it was not just a ship. It was more than that. It had changed, and she felt something watching from deep space, far away. In a place with no stars, something began to move. The void had returned something, and it was not done yet. The wreckage of the battle floated in space. Pieces of metal drifted through the dark. Fires still burned inside broken ships. The gas giant below turned slowly, glowing with red storms. The great tower of the machines was gone, but the war was not over. Commander Laura Green stood on the bridge of her ship. Her hands were shaking, but she kept her eyes on the screen. The machines had stopped attacking, but only for now. She looked at the empty spot on the fleet channel. Eric's signal was gone. He had flown straight into the tower and destroyed it. His sacrifice had saved them. Now she had to lead. "Begin search for survivors," she ordered. "Recover as many as we can." Ships moved carefully through the wreckage. Small rescue craft picked up escape pods and wounded crew. Medical bays filled up fast. The leaders of the fleet gathered again, this time through video link. Faces showed grief, fear, and anger. "We stopped the super weapon," said one alien general. "But this was only one. How many more do they have?" Laura said, "We don't know. But we learned something. The machines are not unbreakable. We can hurt them." A young officer from Earth entered the room with a report. "We found something in the wreckage. A machine data core. It's damaged, but we may be able to learn from it. They sent the core to Earth's secret lab under the Antarctic ice. Scientists worked around the clock. They broke into the machine's code slowly, line by line. Laura went there in person. She stood beside the lead scientist, a man named Alan Brooks. He was thin, quiet, and always focused. "What did you find?" she asked. Alan pointed to the screen. "This code is not machine-made. It was created by something, older, smarter. It looks like it came from another galaxy." Laura stepped back. So the machines were not just forgotten weapons. They were sent here. Alan nodded. Yes, planted long ago. They waited until something woke them up. "We did that," Laura said. "We found the signal and answered it." "No," Alan said. "It was never meant for us. It was a trap, and now it's too late." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, more machine fleets appeared. They did not speak. They did not stop. They attacked any world that had strong defenses or old technology. They crushed cities. They burned oceans. They erased databanks. One world tried to make peace. They sent messages of peace and gifts of rare minerals. The machines destroyed them without a word. The Galactic Council was in chaos. Old enemies blamed each other. Some wanted to hide. Others wanted to run. President Maria Jennings spoke to them through a broadcast. "There is no place to hide. No world is safe. We must fight together or we will all be lost. Earth will not retreat, and we will not fight alone." Slowly, more leaders agreed. They sent ships, soldiers, and supplies to the first SHIELD fleet. The fleet was no longer small. It had become the last wall between life and destruction. Laura took command of the fleet. She missed Eric every day, but she knew what he would have wanted. To keep fighting, she called her new command group together. Humans and aliens sat at the same table. "The machines are not just weapons," she said. "They were built by something else. Something older. We don't know where it is now, but we know what the machines want: to erase anything that can resist them." An alien commander asked, "Can we find their source?" "Maybe," Laura said. "We found another signal. A weak one. It leads beyond the edge of the galaxy. That may be where they came from, or where their master still waits." The group went silent. The edge of the galaxy was a place of myths. Few ships went that far. None returned. Laura looked at the map. "We have no choice. If we want to end this, we must go there. We must strike first." The plan was simple. Leave part of the fleet to protect the core worlds. Take a smaller group, fast and armed, and follow the signal. The shipyards worked fast. New cruisers were built. Old warships were repaired. Humans and aliens trained together. Before they left, Laura visited Eric's family. His mother gave her a simple charm he once wore. He believed in peace, she said, but he knew when to fight. Laura took the charm and wore it around her neck. The strike group left Earth's space under full stealth. They passed dying stars, frozen moons, and strange lights. Days turned to weeks. Then they reached the edge. Space grew cold. Light faded. Time felt slower. And there they saw it. A black station the size of a moon. No windows, no lights. Just a single pulse, like a heartbeat. Laura stared. That is not a base. That is a mind. The machines around it were still, as if waiting. The team sent out probes. One came back with a short signal. It said only this: "You found us. Now we finish what we started." The machines came alive. The battle for the galaxy was not over. It had just reached its darkest hour. The strike fleet faced the giant black station at the edge of the galaxy. It did not move. It made no sound. But every ship in the fleet could feel it. It was like standing in front of a storm that had not begun. Commander Laura Green stood on her command deck. She looked at the screen showing the black station. Around it, hundreds of machine ships waited. They formed a wall of metal and fire. Laura gave the order: "Hold position. No one fires until I say." She opened a channel. "This is Commander Laura Green of the 1st Shield Fleet. We came for answers. Why are you attacking our worlds?" A reply came. Not in words, but in images. Cities burning, ships falling, planets cracking. Then a final message: "We were made to end you. That is our task." Laura closed the channel. "So they will not stop. Then we won't stop either." She sent the plan to all ships. It was simple: cut through the machine wall, reach the black station, land a strike team, destroy the core. If the core fell, the machines might shut down. The battle began. Earth ships fired first. Railguns lit the dark. Alien ships launched energy waves. Fighters flew like sparks into the wall of machine ships. The machines responded fast. They moved with perfect timing. No fear, no mercy. Laura's ship pushed through the chaos. She gave quick, clear orders: target the left flank, send reinforcements to the center. The sky became fire. Ships on both sides exploded. A human destroyer broke in half. An alien cruiser was pulled into a machine trap and crushed. Still, the strike group pushed forward. Then the machines launched something new: a wave of black spheres. They floated through space and sent out waves that shut down power systems. 3 fleet ships went dark and drifted. Laura called to engineering: "We need backups online now. Use the manual circuits." Her ship stayed online, barely. She turned to her pilot: "We have to reach the station. That's our only chance." At the back of the fleet, a group of human and alien scientists worked together. They had built a virus, a special code. If placed inside the black station, it could stop the machines. Laura led the strike team herself. They took a small stealth shuttle and flew straight toward the black station. The machine wall was thinner now, thanks to the fleet's attack. Inside the shuttle, Laura held a small drive. It held the virus. "We get in, we find the core, we end this," she told her team. The shuttle dodged fire and reached the station. They found an opening, like a dark tunnel. It pulled them inside. The inside of the station was strange. Black walls moved like they were alive. No sounds, no lights, only a deep hum. The team moved fast. Laura led them through twisting halls. They followed signals from the drive. Then machines attacked. Long arms, sharp blades, glowing eyes. The team fought hard. Laser rifles, grenades, and hand weapons. 2 team members fell, but the rest kept going. At last, they reached a tall chamber. In the center stood a giant glowing shape. The core, it pulsed like a heart. Laura stepped forward and placed the drive into a small slot near the base. The virus uploaded fast. The core shook, lights blinked. Then the walls screamed. A high, cold sound. The team ran back as the station began to shake. Machines fell from the walls, lifeless. Outside, the battle changed. Machine ships stopped moving. Some fell, others floated without power. The black spheres vanished. The fleet saw it all. A cheer went through the ships. The signal from the black station had stopped. The machines were no longer a threat. Laura's shuttle flew back through the silence. They had done it. Back on Earth, the news spread fast. The machines were gone. The war was over. President Maria Jennings stood before a crowd. Today we live, because we stood together. Humans, aliens, friends. The galaxy had changed. Worlds once divided were now united by war and by victory. Laura returned to Earth. She walked through the same halls where Eric once stood. She placed his charm on a wall of honor. His name was there, among many others. The leaders of the new Galactic Alliance met. They agreed on one thing. The planet killer tech would never be used again. The black station was gone, but no one knew. If something worse was still out there, so they built watchers, silent ships at the edge of space. Always watching. Laura looked up at the stars one night. They were still beautiful, still full of danger. But now she was not afraid. She had seen the worst, and she had seen how people could stand together and fight. The galaxy would never forget the machines, but they would also never forget Earth's answer. If you bring death, Earth brings fire, and fire always remembers who struck first. Months passed since the machines were stopped. The galaxy was quiet now, but the memory of the war was still fresh. Ships no longer moved without escorts. Worlds still rebuilt what was lost. People looked to the sky and wondered if the danger was truly gone. Commander Laura Green sat in a small room at Earth's defense station. Outside her window, large repair ships floated in space, fixing old stations and laying new satellites. Inside, she read new reports. Small machine signals had started to appear again, not strong like before, just small traces, like echoes. Some believed these were just leftovers. Others were not sure. President Maria Jennings called Laura to her office. The room was quiet. No cameras, just two people who had been through too much. "Are you worried?" Maria asked. "Yes," Laura answered. "The machines were shut down, but we never found their true creator. If that thing is still out there, it could start again." Maria nodded. "We have a new project. Deep space probes. We will send them beyond the galaxy. If anything moves, we will know." Laura looked down at a small tablet. It showed maps of far space, places where light barely reached. "I want to lead the search." "Are you sure?" Maria asked. "You could stay here. You've done enough." "It's not over," Laura said. "We stopped one wave. We have to stop the next before it begins." 2 weeks later, the ship Horizon's Edge launched. It was small, fast, and filled with the best tech Earth could offer. Laura stood on the bridge with a new crew. Some were human, others were not. But they all had the same goal. They left the galaxy behind. Stars grew fewer. The dark space between galaxies stretched wide. Time passed slowly. They passed the last known beacon and entered the unknown. Then they found something. A metal field, large and empty, floated in the dark. Broken pieces of machines spun in silence. Laura ordered a scan. It showed shapes too large to understand. Parts of ships that did not match anything from the war. One scan showed a shape inside a crater. A piece of something alive, frozen. Laura ordered a team to collect it. Inside the lab, the creature slowly woke up. It looked like a mix of metal and flesh. It had one eye. It blinked once, then stopped. They ran tests. The results were strange. It was very old. Older than Earth. Older than anything they knew. Laura spoke to her science officer, a calm woman named Dana. "What is it?" Dana replied. "I think this was one of the makers, or maybe one of their tools. It is not like us. It thinks differently." The creature stayed asleep, but its body sent out weak signals, not in words, in images. The crew saw stars. They didn't know. Ships too large to build. A giant dark eye watching over empty space. Then silence. Laura stood still. These were not just weapons. They were part of a larger mind. Maybe a full race. Maybe one being. "We don't know," Dana said. "The machines we fought might be just scouts. The real threat may still be coming." Back on Earth, the news of the discovery was kept quiet. Only a few in the council knew. Maria read the full report and closed her eyes. "We are just ants in front of a storm," she whispered. More deep probes were sent. Some disappeared. One sent back a short signal before it was lost. It said, "They are listening." Laura and her crew kept searching. They followed strange signals. Some led to dead ends. Others led to broken machine parts drifting through dark space. One day, they found a signal that matched the core code of the first black station. It came from far beyond any known star. They followed it after many days. They reached a system with no sun, a cold, dead place. In the center was a dark sphere, not metal, not stone, just black, like a hole that had shape. "Is it alive?" someone asked. "No," Laura said. "It's waiting." They launched a probe. It vanished on contact. No sound, no flash. Just gone, Dodd. Dana looked at the readings. "This is not just a machine, it's a gate." Laura asked, "A gate to where?" No one knew. They marked the place and returned to the edge of the galaxy. They sent the data back to Earth. The council met again. Some said to destroy the gate. Others said to study it. Maria listened, then turned to Laura. "What would you do?" Laura looked at the stars on the screen. "We prepare, we watch, we wait. If something comes through, we will be ready." Maria nodded. "Then we begin Project Sentinel." Across the galaxy, stations were built. Ships were armed. AI systems were trained to watch the dark. The war had ended, but the true battle had not yet begun. Laura stayed in space. Her ship floated near the edge. The gate was still quiet. But deep down, she knew it would not stay quiet forever. She stood by the window, looking out. We are not alone, we never were. And far beyond the stars, something opened one eye.